and he knows MMA, but for sure I know one thing: he hasn't done what I've done.
Bonjour tout le monde, bienvenue sur l'Arène MMA. Aujourd'hui, on interview Mehdi Zeidvand dans le cadre de son combat à Samouraï MMA chapitre 7 contre le Mexicain José Penaloza à 145 livres. How are you, Mehdi?
Hi and bonjour to everybody. I'm great. Yourself?
Could you please, I'm good, thank you very much. Could you please introduce yourself?
My name is Mehdi Zeidvand. I'm a world-class wrestler from Iran, and I'm 31 years old.
Could you talk to us about your wrestling background?
So, I was 10 years old that I started wrestling, and I had been in national team for 10 years, since 2007 up to 2018, right before I moved to Canada. I achieved a lot of stage and a lot of medals in wrestling. 5 Asian championships, 2 World Cups, 10 times Iranian champ, and 2 Golden Grand Prix.
So it's a big background.
Yes, yeah.
So do you know Javad?
Yeah, I know him since we were in Iran, and we got to know each other more when we came to Canada.
Nice. So when and where did you start MMA? In TriStar?
So the idea of starting MMA came to my mind when I was living in Toronto. By the time I was working in construction, and I was doing wrestling, and I didn't have any ideas about MMA until a few friends of mine told me, "Mehdi, why you're not trying MMA? Maybe you like it." And so I was in 2 minds if I start MMA or not. But the coach that I was working with in wrestling, he knew a bit about MMA. So I started MMA with the wrestling coach in the gym that I was doing wrestling. And then I've got improved a bit in MMA, and a few friends of mine again suggested me, "Mehdi, why you're not going to Montreal? There is a gym in Montreal. It's called TriStar Gym. George St. Pierre used to train there, and there are a lot of UFC fighters and good fighters there, and also the coach Firas Zahabi is one of the best in the world. Go and try it out. Stay there for 1 week, 2 weeks, and see if you like it." So I moved to Montreal, and the dream of being a fighter or being a great MMA fighter started when I moved to Montreal and tried TriStar Gym.
What do you think about the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu when you, because Firas is specialist in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so you as a wrestler, how did you discover Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? What did you think when you discover Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
So, because I'm coming from a wrestling background, and I just started wrestling since I was a kid. I kind of got adapt to the grappling or jiu-jitsu situation, different situation. So for me, it wasn't that hard to adapt to the jiu-jitsu. And then with the coach Firas Zahabi, we started jiu-jitsu and specific only jiu-jitsu. So now we are pretty good in jiu-jitsu too.
And what about the stand-up?
I love stand-up. I love stand-up situation. I love striking. It's like now I strike like I'm not coming from a wrestling background or grappling background. You know, my boxing, my kickboxing, my Muay Thai, everything got improved a lot. And from my last fight, I've been focusing and I've been working hard on what I needed to work on. And I covered a lot of my weaknesses and I developed my strength. My stand-up is good too. It's not only good, nearby awesome.
Perfect. So what are your goals in MMA?
In wrestling, I wanted to become the Olympian gold medalist. I was so close even to that goal in 2016. But for some reason, I fell down the arrange, so I didn't go to Olympic. Obviously, in MMA, my goal is become the best and the greatest of all time and become the champion of the world in UFC.
So you want to quickly move to the UFC?
Quickly or with patiently, but I'm trying my best to be the best. How far I can go, only God knows, but I go 100% with all my heart and see how far I can go.
How hard is it for you to make 145?
It's easy.
Easy?
Easy. Yeah, it's easy.
What are your goals in Samouraï MMA?
The goal is be a better fighter, do have a good performance compared with my last fight. Each fight I'm trying to develop, improve more in my skill, whichever it is, if it's boxing, if it's kicking, if it's jiu-jitsu. The only thing is do a better performance compared with my last fight. This is the main goal that I have.
Great. And why did you not fight since Samouraï MMA 4?
Unfortunately, the Samouraï MMA didn't give me an opponent in the past 2 cards.
Okay.
Yeah, I asked them, but they didn't have any opponent for me. So, which was good because since then I've been working on MMA and striking and grappling and wrestling and everything.
Who will be in your corner?
Firas was supposed to be my corner, but he won't be here. Firas was supposed to be my corner, but he won't be here next week. But one of them is Mehdi Zeidvand for sure.
What do you think about your opponent, Penaloza?
Penaloza, he's a Mexican opponent.
Yes.
And probably he's gonna be tough. And he knows MMA. But for sure I know one thing, he hasn't done what I've done. And another thing, if he's tough, I'm tougher than him. This is for sure. I have no doubt about it.
Mehdi Zeidvand, thank you very much and see you August 4.
Appreciated us.
Of course.